Hey everyone, welcome back to Chai Me a River. I'm your host, Shane Lamba, and today we're really going to get into it. Part 2. I know that I say we're always going to get into it, but really, what do I mean? Well, today's episode is essentially a part 2 to the hot chai and takes. So, I did bring hot chai this time. I can't pan to the camera, but there actually is tea in here. And I thought to use my LGBTQ plus pride flag mug that I got at Michael's. So, shout out Michael's. Let me take a sip because, I need to energize myself. But today we're really going to talk a lot about random shit because that's the whole point of this, right? A lot of you all really enjoyed the first episode of Hot Chai and Hot Takes, so definitely check that out on Spotify or Apple as well as YouTube. You can watch the full video there. But I wanted to make a second video, a follow-up video, or kind of like a part 2 to a lot of things that people had reached out about, talked to me about, texted me about, or DM'd me about. So I thought to bring it all up in this conversation. So again, grab your chai, grab your hot coffee, grab your iced coffee if you have it. I have my ice water in Mama Hydro flask, and we're gonna get into it. So let's start. First of all, if your name is Kim Davis, you are a fugly, 4-timed, married, pathetic piece of shit for a woman. And you deserve all the hatred that comes your way. I hope you fart and the shit comes out is so fiery that it backs up your toilet and causes the plumbing to go bad. That you can't even flush your own toilet, so you have to live with that stanky shit and feces in the house, and it causes you to then have respiratory illness. And then because all y'all bitches who are on her side don't believe in science or healthcare or public health or healthcare for all, the closest hospital to you will deny your fugly ass coverage. So get with it. And you're a fucking fat, slimy, ugly ass body, oompa loompa ass bitch. And you should never have been seen the day of light. You should never have been able to reimpose this conversation about gay marriage and marriage equality because you're not qualified, girl. You are not qualified. You are not even what the people who idolize you are talking about. And first of all, we don't need to idolize heterosexual straight relationships or straight couples, right? We need to idolize ourselves. We need to focus on ourselves. We need to get back to minding our own fucking business. That's what we really need to do. But because you got me so heated, because you got me in this position that I don't really want to be in, I'm going to go off a little bit and I'm going to talk a little bit more about marriage equality and what some of the data, because we know that bitches don't like data, actually could benefit from. So, a recent Gallup poll, and by recent I mean last year, because let's be honest, nothing in 2025 is really worth looking at. It's a pretty shit show here in America. About 70% of Americans continue to believe that marriage between same-sex couples should be legal, right? And this was even before this whole conversation, right? And many of those individuals, about 65% of those people, say that gay or lesbian relations are more morally acceptable. Which, when we really think about it, right, about 70% and then about 65% think that queer people or LGBTQ plus people should be able to be married or also feel that it's morally acceptable for them to be married is kind of bonkers. But when we look at the data from like over time, and I'll drop the link in the description to that study so people can take a look at it if they haven't. But if you really just quickly search same-sex marriage American sentiments, it's usually like the third or fourth link on Gallup on Google search. But what really stood out to me is that only 46% of Republicans believed that same-sex marriage should be valid. There's still a good chunk of people in that party that think that we shouldn't be able to marry, that we shouldn't be able to do things. And then guess what? The Supreme Court of the United States is what party, is what affiliation. It's supposed to be not partisan, right? I mean, they can have their own perspectives, they can have their own ideologies and opinions. I mean, that is an understanding of the judicial system, right? But who put in a lot of those justices? Trump, right? Oompa Loompa, Big Cheeto Mama. She put in a lot of those people in that position. So how, when we just look at data, and I think people don't actually understand data sometimes. Now, of course, you can't take a really small cross-sectional study, which essentially means, for those who don't know what cross-sectional means, is you're taking a study and you're investigating some sort of phenomenon, some of research. You're investigating some sort of research question at a specific time piece, right? So you might be doing a survey in a class. So like think about, your class projects that may have asked you to do like surveys and stuff. That would be like a cross-sectional survey, like a one-time survey. Now, if you're doing national representative samples, which a lot of the research often is when it looks at these types of data points, right? Because they want to be able to make relationships with, the country overall. That's when you can start to look at those statistics and you can start to say, that would make sense because it might apply to my life, right? I mean, when we look at those statistics about, 1 in 10 people are LGBTQ plus across the United States, we can look at that number, right? And then we could say, okay, among 10 people in this room, one of y'all's is gay, right? That's really how some of the data pieces work. And that's a really short synopsis of data. I don't want to get too much into it. But essentially, what I was trying to say is if these bitches don't believe that marriage equality and marriage can be between a man and a man or same sex, same gender, etc., and they are also representative or represented highly in certain parts of the government, then we're fucked. We're cooked. I learned about that word. I didn't know what that actually meant, but I learned that cooked meant like we're done. We're eh. So just think about how the data can translate. Now, another study, though, which is another counter argument to this whole shenanigan that's even being brought up in the world. Another study was actually done by RAND and UCLA. And this was done in 2024. And for people who don't know what RAND is, they're like a huge corporate research entity that does a lot of United States kind of social research, policy research, and health-related research. So if you're in the health sphere, you might really enjoy some of their stuff. And they do some really fantastic work, particularly for LGBTQ plus people. So there was a study that was published in 2024, and I'll link it down in the description so people can have access to read it. I believe it was accessible for free. And it was labeled 20 Years of Legal Marriage for Same-Sex Couples in the United States. And this was authored by Benjamin Kearney and colleagues. And essentially what they found, they did like a systematic review and they looked at different papers, different evidence, pools of research of papers, right, to kind of counteract these dumb bitches' responses to this whole shenanigan. Because again, you need data to tell a story and you need those data points to invoke feeling and change when it comes to policy. What they found was that states that legalize marriage for same-sex couples, the physical health of those people, the rates of syphilis, HIV, AIDS, those things improved over time, right? They also found that same-sex couples felt more stable over time, meaning that they didn't experience some of these hate crimes, they didn't experience some of these victimization events and some of these abuses that society puts on them, that they're able to live a normal day-to-day life, right? Where they don't actually maybe have to hide anymore, right? They don't have to go back into the closet. They don't have to suppress wanting a relationship because the whole country tells them they can't. We also found in that study, and I'm saying we, but they also found in that study that home ownership went up, hate crimes also went down, and employment discrimination also went down. Some really cool things happening. And I say cool, but really it's sad because it's like human respect and dignity of things are happening to people in a nice way. The children, and I know we always talk about the children, right? Everyone always talks about wanting to protect the children, wanting to do this and that. Well, guess what? The data showed that children of same-sex couples benefited when their parents were granted legal marriage. that state level adoption rates became increasingly increasingly higher for those couples because it became legal, right? And then what do we know when people get married? What do we know? What is the main benefit in this shitty country that we know of? You get healthcare coverage. You get employer sponsored benefit coverage when people are married, right? So when you have a spouse, when you have a partner, you often can get on their health insurance. You can get on their 401k. You also can have access to a lot of their health benefits. You have access to being a power of attorney for that person. Often in some states, you have access to actually go see your loved one if they're sick, if they're dying in a hospital room, particularly if those states have laws against, that immediate family can only visit people. So when you get married and when you have a partnership like that, that's recognized by the whole country, recognized by the states that you live in and the cities and the municipalities that you live in, you are improving people's health over time. So what I just don't understand is how you can say that there's negative things occurring because of this, right? When the studies have shown us time and time again that there have really been no lasting negative changes in public opinion since the result of same sex marriage, right? And they did find in that study, and I'm just looking to make sure I quote it right, that nationally, again, remember I was talking about this, nationally representative polls show that 70% of Americans now approve of marriage for same sex couples. We still have almost about a third, right, that don't. So we should really focus on obviously getting those third to push into the 70. But what we need to do, and this is what I'm looking at you, especially if you're not a queer person watching this video, is you need to be an ally. We need to support people because when we support each other, we lift each other up. We actually do better as a society. And it can be seen in these studies, right? The more we give to people, the more we give access to, equity, equality, dignity, respect on basic human rights, basic human services, the better those people actually do for themselves, the less marginalized they become, and the more adept to society and the changes of society they actually move towards. So what's really irking to me is that marriage equality has become such a large debate by this party, by these entities, and it really pisses me off. It pisses me off that people really have to talk about this when literally people can't afford their groceries. People can't afford housing. People can't afford to rent a place, let alone buy a place. That's why they're stuck in renting a place, and then they get stuck with raised and raised and raised rent. No access to food. There's no one doing any public service anymore, right? Everybody is just in it for themselves. So what the flying fuck when it comes to this bitch, Miss Mama Kim Davis? You know what Kim Davis sounds like? Kim Davis sounds like an ugly ass drag queen name. She could benefit from some drag. She could benefit from looking like a woman. Because if that's what a woman is, I don't think y'all bitches are talking about that as a woman. A real woman would be taking initiative, and a real woman would probably give us life, first of all, give us life, but also would support other people, right? We've seen this time and time again. Women always come to the forefront of progressive issues. They may not come because men don't know how to treat them right, but they will always be there to stand up. And we saw this during the AIDS epidemic with the lesbian women that came and supported the gay people when they were dying, when no one else wanted to support them. And we'll see it to this day. We see it with all the migrame raids that are happening. We see a lot of women documenting these videos, taking videos, standing up to those bitches. Women are the future. Women are the now, honestly. And obviously, I'm not a woman, but I'm always going to support women. I'm always going to be a diehard advocate for women because obviously I like women. But it's not even because I like women. It's because I have seen the power of strong women in my life, and I've seen the power of strong feminine energy in my life. And I think that's really important for us to really recognize and to understand. So, rant is over about this marriage equality, but I wanted to provide some facts because who the fuck would I be if I didn't provide the facts? I'm not some fake ass bitch who's gonna get on here and spew random facts and tick tick tack tack tweety pop all my facts up. No, 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 no. I will come supported with it because I am what? Sickening. Yes. But I also am a researcher. I also am a public health professional. I also am a lover of equity and equality. So you need data, you need numbers, you need sentiments, you need stories, you need the whole zhuzh of it all to be able to move forward. Yes. Moving forward. Let's take a break. Okay, we're back. So we're going to now talk a little bit more about some real shit, right? We talked about marriage equality. We talked about how Miss Kim Davis is a fat Oompa Loompa ass cunt and deserves to. But now I've created some talking points because I realized in the past I have just gone on a tangent about talking shit, which honestly sometimes is really fun. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about femininity. Okay. And essentially, I just talked about like feminine energy and how we love that feminine energy. But really, my fucking hot take, my first hot take is feminine men who act like they're masculine in physicality, but when they open their mouths, it is pure FAG. Pure FAG. And I'm going to tell you a little story time about this. So I was in WeHo. So shout out all the WeHo girls. I was in WeHo maybe like 2 weeks ago. Then I was in Santa Monica. It was just like a lot of fun, like being in like LA and WeHo in that space, right? And this is really what I saw. I saw so many guys who were feminine put up a front about being masculine, okay? But you just know that it's so tough for them to act that way. You just know that they're really like trying so hard. And it's really my hot take because for me, I just hate it. I think we should let that shit go. We should be who we want to be. And if you're feminine, you're feminine. If you're masculine, you're masculine. I have no problem with people dressing masculine, dressing feminine. I do a little bit of both. I mean, predominantly, I usually dress up more masculine. I don't like paint my nails. I don't do my nails. I don't put makeup on. And I'm not saying that those are inherently feminine, but when I think of femininity, when I think of the girls that I've liked, the women that I've liked, those are things that first come to my mind, right? Because that's like society's conditioning of us. But what I also see is that people do all that. Their face is caked up, plucked, plump lips, and they're just trying to be all like this. And honestly, it really pisses me off. It really fucking pisses me off. Because get a personality, A. B, the guys that you are trying to attract are only going to talk to you for like a minute, and then they're going to dip. They're going to dip. Also, let's be fucking for real. How come in WeHo nobody's dancing? Can we bring back dancing? Like, bring back dancing. Bring back the boys that actually want to go to the club and have a good time and dance. Because I feel like everybody in WeHo and LA, everywhere I went, nobody was dancing. Everybody was standing around, taking selfies, recording shit for their content, which, I mean, fine. I get it. Everybody's a wannabe content creator nowadays. Well, I'm not a wannabe. I could be, but I don't want to be right in this instance because I just have too many things going on. However, if somebody wants to support me and be seeing me as a content creator, then definitely hit me up, DM me, okay? But yeah, I just feel like nobody wants to dance anymore. Nobody wants to have fun. Nobody wants to work. So why the fuck are we going to the club or the bar or whatever and not dancing? Also, why is nobody dancing with anybody else? Like I get it if like you're dancing like with your friends. and you do that. You know, like you have fun and put this pillow down. You have fun to dance with your friends, but also, aren't you going to the bar to have an encounter or interaction with somebody, like have a dance with somebody, have a little bit of a fun? Nobody wants to have fun these days. No, nobody really wants to have fun. They all want to dress up with their fake shit. First of all, also, let me talk shit about this. If I see you, if I see you at a WeHo bar or a LA bar, like a gay bar, okay, I could understand if you're like at a rooftop bar. Maybe you're like in Beverly Hills, you're in, like a more sophisticated kind of area where, like people dress up nicely. And like the whole point of that is to, zhuzh and show off. I get it. If I see you in a WeHo gay bar or I see you in a LA gay bar with a fucking Cartier love bracelet on, with a Van Cleef Arpels bracelet or a necklace with the clovers, I immediately know that you're fake. I immediately know. Because I'm sorry, but if I had those things, I would not be going to the WeHo Gay Club or the LA Gay Club. Not because I think I would be better than anyone else. I don't think that. No, no, no. I do sometimes. But because I know of all the stories where people have their shit stolen. Like that's like a very common thing. People get their shit stolen. So why would you walk in to these bars, these gay clubs that are known for stealing and theft and having your shit locked up or taken with $10,000-$20,000 bracelets on, with a $10,000-$20,000 necklace on? I don't buy it. Even like when you go to Coachella, this is the same shit that happened in Coachella. Why would you be wearing those Van Cleef Arpels unless you're a celebrity and you're in the VIP, like you're in the box yourself, and they're moving past you, they're taking you here and there, in and out from like all the different places. Somebody's guarding you if you're wearing all that jewelry, all that zhuzh. I can understand. But if you're a regular bitch who's in the GA like us, you're not gonna have that, baby. No. Because if you're a regular bitch and you're in the GA and you have all those nice necklaces, why are you doing Easy Pay or Afterpay? Why are you doing Klarna payments? Why are you doing a payment plan to pay off your Coachella ticket if you have the money to buy a $20,000 necklace, a Cartier love ring? So that's also another hot take of mine is stop wearing your nice, expensive, fake, really fake jewelry. You look like a fucking clown. I hate it. I hate it. Because the thing is, I understand gay people. I know there was some recent data that showed that gay people, lesbian people, and LGBTQ queer folks have high paying jobs, right? Especially the men. And this was actually a conversation I watched in another podcast about gay people because essentially the roles were kind of reversed for gay men, right? We end up, in a heterosexual, straight, heteronormative relationship, oftentimes being a breadwinner, right? I'm not saying that's always the case. A lot of women have a lot of high paying jobs nowadays, and it's great. I think the equity in the pay should be there, and people shouldn't get paid more just because they're a man. Frankly, they should be paid less. We should be paid less. But they were saying that, when you put two gay men together, the reason why they can go on all these trips, all these vacations, all these shenanigans is because they're basically two big breadwinners, right? They're two big men that are focused on getting their careers, where often women and other people are often, left to just kind of focus on the house, focus on themselves, especially if they have kids, right, etc. So I thought that was a very interesting perspective. I can understand if you have nice things, if you're gay. I have nice things. I'm a queer person. So I'm not saying that you can't have those things. I'm just saying it gets a little played out and it's hot, right? It's my fucking unpopular opinion probably. But it gets annoying when you are just all the same. You're all the cookie cutter same, right? You're all just, hey man, what's going on? Oh, look at me with my Cartier love bracelet. Oh. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Shut the fuck up. Because first of all, when I look at that LA Dodgers hats, and I know I'm wearing one right now, but honestly, it's for the gag of it all. I dressed up like this for a reason. So if you know the reason, comment below in the video or on the or tag me or whatever, because there's a gag to why I'm wearing and dressed like this. But if you're wearing this LA Dodgers hat with your Van Cleef Arpels, your Cartier love bracelet, etc., or ring, why is the hat looking like you took a shit on it? and then you try to wipe it off with a Mr. Clean magic eraser, but it's still there, and then the sweat marks are there because you probably only have one of those hats that you're wearing to everyday functions, to the gym, and then you don't wash it. I mean, I haven't washed my hats either, but normally when they get to that little like white sweat marks and stuff, I usually just chuck it out and go buy a new one. I don't have like a hat per se for the gym. I try not to wear this one for the gym. I try to wear it like when I'm out and about just because it's nice conditioned. But I wouldn't imagine somebody who has all these nice things to have a shitty ass hat. Why is the hat looking like somebody took shit on it? Why does it look like you've wiped it over and over again, washed it over and over again with your Tide Pod, but it's not coming out? Hmm? We'll have to see. So really, it's like a catch-22. I know this is my hot take. It's probably going on for like way too long, but if you're still listening here, please stay listened. It is basically a catch-22, right? Because you can never be yourself in society, but then in gay society, you have to prioritize masculinity over femininity. So aren't we just as bad as the straights? And I'm sorry, I keep looking like this. We're basically as bad as the straights, right? These straight men are trying to over hyper masculinize themselves. Hey, go check out that episode. Little plug for myself. And the gay people are doing the same thing because we're trying to catch up. So this is my hot take. Drop the shenanigan, drop the persona, drop the mask. Just go and be yourself and stop trying to look like everybody else. Have a little bit of individuality. You know, show up to the club a little grungy, a little like, you know, rugged, a little like you just came from the gym and you're sweaty and all that shit, you know, especially if you're not dancing with anybody, especially if you have no friends. Show up the way you want to show up, because I guarantee you there will always be a bitch who likes your flavor. Okay? Guarantee you. You are always going to be somebody's cup of tea, but you may not be my cup of tea. And that's okay. You might just be my hot cup of chai. Okay. So another little hot take that I have is people who use paper plates or styrofoam plates. Okay, I'm coming for the styrofoam anti-environmentalist bitches as well. And then their whole shtick is being a beauty influencer, a health lifestyle influencer, or a nutritionist, or a personal trainer. If you are any of those bitches and you use a fucking paper plate, I am coming for your neck. Why is it always that I open up my phone and I see a fucking fitness influencer, I see a personal trainer talking about macros, talking about this, talking about nutrients, and then they have the shittiest paper plates. And I don't mean like, you know, Dixie paper plates. Those are good for when you have like family friends over, or, you know, you're having a party. Even the Target ones. And I know we're boycotting Target. I know we are. But I will say that the Target up and up plates, the paper plates, they know what they're doing with those fucking plates. Like, they always make them durable and they're nice. But I know we're boycotting them, so don't go there. But why is it that it's always these fitness influencers, these lifestyle gurus? I'm a yogi. I love acupuncture. I'm a chiropractor and a personal trainer. Get the fuck out of here. You know what? If you're a personal trainer and you're a chiropractor and you're a fucking yogi or whatever, that's a lot of struggles, okay? It is. And you probably have a good amount of money. So why aren't you buying some nice plates? And they always put the most ugly looking food on the plates too. And the reason why I say this is because A, we know styrofoam is bad for us, right? I mean, if you really look at it, it's like hypocritical. I'm going to put this down because I keep holding it. I'm going to shake it out. But I'm going to take a sip of water. We do know that styrofoam plates are bad for the environment, okay? Granted. We also know paper plates are technically bad to a certain extent. You know, like if you're going to keep using them, you're wasting a lot of paper, you're killing a lot of trees, you know, you're hurting the environment. Particularly if you have a kitchen and you have a hand and you can wash it yourself. You know, as an Indian person, I really didn't grow up using paper plates ever. The only time we used paper anything like, utensils and stuff or plastic utensils is if we had like our Christmas party. And even then, let alone my mom and dad wanted to use their nice Royal Albert, their fine china, all the nice plates, the French plates that we had that my mom and dad have collected over time, the nice like cutleries, all the nice shit that we have in Indian households. But we never really used it. Even to this day, we barely use it. My dad rather just wash the plates himself or put them in the dishwasher. And yes, my dad does the dishes. In my house, it's roles reversed. My mom has never done a dish since they've been married. And they've been married for almost 30 plus years. So good for her. But my dad does the dishes and he'd rather do that. And that's kind of how I am. But like, obviously with my friends, when they come over, I usually do paper plates because it's like apartment and it's just easier. Right. And if people are going to be drinking, getting friends crazy and frantic, I rather them drop the paper plate than drop like a glass plate. Although your friends at 30 years old shouldn't be dropping shit because we're adults. But yeah, I mean, I just don't get it because it's like you're a fitness influencer. And why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you advertising that you're a fitness influencer, you're a personal trainer, and you're all about health, you're all about micronutrients, you're all about eating your vitamin supplements. Don't do this, don't eat fat, don't eat seed oil, don't do this. Well, you know what? Maybe you should shut the fuck up. Maybe somebody should get a zipper and zip your fucking mouth, tie your hands up and throw you in the fucking closet, because you don't need to be out there showing us your boiled ass chicken that looks like it's been sitting out in the fucking garden for like 10 years and all it has is salt and pepper on it. I'm sorry, but if you are eating only salt and peppered chicken, I don't fuck with you. I don't. I don't. I don't think you know how you can season food. I don't realize, well, I don't realize, you don't realize that you can season food and it can still be caloric, like in your calories, in your macros, right? Like, don't fucking play this game. Don't show me a paper plate. Go and also, you know what? And I'm fucking really pissed about this because it really pisses me off. The reason why they're using these paper plates, and I'm pointing to you if you're a fucking personal trainer, the reason why they use these paper plates is because they're lazy, right? They want to advertise that you should go to the gym for 2 to 3 hours. You should go do this. You should go stretch. You should go eat this. You should take this shake. You should shit your pants out. You should shit your pants out. You should shit your pants out, right? But they're not washing the dishes. Or if they are, they're having their girlfriend wash it because they're fucking homebodies and their girlfriends are fucking pathetic. Oh, and if they are having dishes being washed, it's usually their mamas because half of these bitches live with their mamas, right? I mean, let's be fucking for real. You can't be a personal trainer or be a fitness influencer unless you have some stability in your rent, in your housing, in something, right? You can't be. Most of the time you do this because you live at home and it's easy, right? And that's fine. Like that's fine. Monopolize and uh, you know, uh, get with whatever situation you're in, right? Like seize the moment. If you are living with your parents and you want to do all this stuff, do it. But don't be telling people that you should eat this healthy food and then show me a fucking ugly ass Walmart paper plate. Show me those paper plates that they give, you a slice of pizza when you go in New York on Broadway, or you go to like any after the bar shenanigan. They those ones with the grills in them, the divots. Yeah, they're eating on that bitch. They're eating on that. So if you do that, I don't fuck with you. Okay. Also, people who talk too much about themselves at someone else's party. I do not fuck with that. That's my hot take. If you do that, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. I don't care. If you're at someone's birthday party, if you're at someone's event, their party, their get together, their baby shower, their shenanigans, stop talking like you're fucking the Queen of England. And that bitch doesn't even talk. That bitch is dead. But stop talking like everything revolves around you when your friend invited all her other friends or his friends and you're over there yapping. You're yapping so much that nobody else can hear what the host has to say. Nobody else can hear the conversation that the host wants to, progress forward because you're talking about yourself. You're talking about your travels. You're talking about your food inquiries. You're talking about, what you did on the weekend. You're trying to get to know people, but you're so loud. It's like, imagine if you're in a 100 square foot room and you're the only bitch that's talking. I don't fuck with that. So people who do that, get the fuck out. Just leave. You need to leave. Like, just leave. I also don't trust, and this is for my Indian Desi people. So if you're Indian and Desi, comment below saying Desi because I just want to know. Um, I don't trust people who say Indian food is too spicy. I don't. I don't trust them, especially when they're a person of color. But particularly when they're a person of color of a certain background that you know has spicy food, right? Like, I can say this for one thing. Afghani and Iranian people, like those Middle Eastern people, they don't really eat spicy food. So I could understand if like one of my friends who was like Middle Eastern or something is like, oh my God, Shane, it's like spicy, right? Like it's spicy. Because a lot of the times, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but a lot of time Middle Eastern food can be a little bit more mellow. It's very, very like calm spices, right? Like you don't feel like the spice. However, there is a difference, and if y'all bitches don't know, between spicy, meaning like heat spicy, spice forward, meaning like, there's a lot of different spices like coriander, cumin, star anise, cinnamon, cumin seeds, garam masala, haldi, which is turmeric, right? Like those are spice forward. And then there's hot, right? There's like hot, like something that's actually like hot because it's like spice. It's so hot because you probably put cayenne pepper in it, right? It's so hot that like my pussy's on fire. It's so hot that my dick is on fire. But no, it's not. It shouldn't be. But it is so hot. Like that's different. Indian food is a spice forward type of food. However, if you feel that Indian food is spicy, first of all, get the fuck out. It's not, especially when you're brown. Second of all, most Indian restaurants that I've noticed in Southern California don't, and even in California in general, even in the Bay Area, don't really make their food super spicy because who are they catering it for? They're not catering their food for Indian people. They're catering their food for non-Indian people, right? So they have to allure people in because again, bitches like this go on the internet and yap their fucking stupid ass mouth about Indian food being spicy. It's not spicy, bitch. Like you can't tell me it's spicy when your whole family eats chili. You can't tell me it's spicy when there's jalapenos in every single food dish that you guys make in your culture. You can't tell me it's not spicy when literally our cultures literally use similar spices, have very similar spice breakdown palettes of the food that we're making. So I don't know what's fucking spicy. Just say you don't like Indian food. It's okay. But don't come on here and say that you like Italian food. You like garlic? And it's no shade to the Italian food. I love Italian food too. But like, yes, Italian food is really just garlic, onions, herbs, right? So you like grass. You like to eat in the Garden of Eden. Okay, well then say that. Just say you don't fucking like Indian food. It's fine. I'm not gonna take offense to it. I mean, I will take offense to it because I'm a fucking bitch. But it's better to stand on your business than wallow behind a fucking face of like, fakeness, right? No. Another thing, another hot take, and this is, my last one before I transition it to something else. But let me take a little sip of this because I'm really pissed that I have to even talk about this. People who get married and then plop out a kid right after they get married. Like they get married and then 9 months later they're pregnant. I mean, they're having their baby. Now, bitch, were you pregnant this whole time? Because I need to know. But also, I don't like that. And I know it's not my business, it's not my relationship. People are going to say, it's not your relationship. You should really fuck off and get out of people's business. But I'm not. I'm not. That's why I'm here, okay? That's why I set this up to record. So yeah, I am going to talk shit about it because that's why I'm here. I don't understand people who get married and don't want to wait a little bit before they have a kid. Okay? The reason being, why especially the bitches who get married hella fast. Okay, those girls need to like slow their horses down. They need to go find a sex toy. They need to go to a sex shop and go get themselves a dildo. They need to go get themselves some other shenanigans. They need to go explore themselves. They need to go have some fun. But the bitches who get married or who are dating for like 7 to 9 years and not married, why are you even dating that person for that long? Huh? Why? Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. It doesn't make sense because, first of all, you should go get married because there may not be a marriage equality, whether you're gay or not. Like, go do it. Who knows what's going to happen? Second of all, if you're like with somebody for that long, don't you want some of the benefits that come with being married, like getting on each other's health insurances if you have good jobs, saving some money there, getting your 401ks set up, doing things that are going to financially stabilize you, but also socially stabilize you, right? Giving you access to certain things that you may not have if you're just in like this domestic relationship. And then, like, why are you not doing it, right? I'm not saying you got to have a kid, but my question is, why the fuck are you together for 9 or 8 years and you're not tying the knot in a different way? I don't trust you. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. But we are going to talk about one more hot take before I wrap it up. And this one is really interesting because it's been a very big topic of debate for the last like week and a half on social media. Is, can you be DL in 2025? No. The big debate lately on social media has been, and this is my hot take, right? Like, why are you DL in 2025? Why are you DL? I made a video about this on TikTok, right? I was DL once. I was. To the shockers, to the shock of the century, right? To the surprise of my audience and my viewers. But yeah, why are you DL in 2025? I don't get it. I don't get why you would put yourself in that position to be in such a negative mind space, headspace all the time for yourself, right? You really shouldn't be DL in 2025. And the rotted gays who are watching this, and I'm really just going to regurgitate what I already said, but the rotted gays who are watching this and the rotted bitches who like their men DL, y'all are rotted for a reason, right? You like these men who are going to give you a fucking ounce of their time for no fucking reason because they look masculine, because they look straight presenting, because they don't fit the norm of what you want in the gay community. Then why the fuck are you gay? Why the fuck are you queer? Why do you be something that you're not, right? Just go act straight your whole life, right? Doesn't make fucking sense to me. Don't put this type of shit on people. Don't. And this whole debate about it came from that DL Mexican video where people found out that like all their uncles or their cousins, their brothers, their shenanigans, their husbands, partners, they all are DL. Like a lot of people in that community are DL. And what I can say is, in the Asian community, it's the same, right? In the Punjabi community, it's the same. And I know all the Punjabi people are going to come for me. They're going to fucking go crazy. Right? But it's the truth. But yeah, in Punjabi culture, it's the same. These guys are fucking around with other guys on the DL while they're married or they have a girlfriend or they have some sort of situation that is heterosexual. I know, I've been there. I know, I've partaked in that on both receivings and giving ends. I've been there. I've done it. I've been horrible. I know. That's why I have anxiety disorder. That's why I'm suffering from anxiety. And I'm not joking about it. I actually do have anxiety disorder. But like, it is very common even in the Asian culture. And it's pretty much common in every culture because at the end of the day, we are more alike than we are different. That has been my big sentiment that I've been talking about with all my friends. I share this with my best friend. I talk about it with my partner, that we're very much all alike than we are different. It is society. It is white people that tell us that we're different, right? Particularly in the Asian community, right? They're trying to make us fight against each other because of the model minority theory, right? The model minority myth that we're better than other people, right? But really, we're all the same. We all have similar grievances. We all have similar experiences that we can relate on. They may not be 100% the same, but that's why I said similar. I didn't say the same, right? For the wordsmith bitches that are going to come for me. But really, I think the concept is that you bitches that like the DL men, the down low men, the discreet men, only like men that are straight and masculine presenting. You want some little risque moment for yourself, but mama, it's not risque. We all know. And you cannot, I've been saying this for a long time, say that you found a DL man at the gay bar. Mama, that boy is gay. Okay? If you are gay, you would go to a gay club. I don't really know many straight people that would go to a gay club, let alone a straight man, right? I could understand straight women. They go there for a lot of reasons, for their bridal showers, for their bachelorette parties, just because they also feel more safe, right? They may go with their girlfriends who are lesbians or queer, etc., or they may go with their guy friends who are gay, right? That's a whole other debate about the straights invading the gay spaces, which we can talk about at another time. Do I agree with it? No. Do I hate it? 50% no, right? 50% yes. I'm still kind of in the middle. So that might rile some of y'all bitches' feathers. So get at me in the comments and ask me questions. But you can't say you found a DL man at the gay bar because, mama, those guys are not going to the gay bar. Those guys are trying so hard not to be like that they're coming around and sniffing around and sniffing on sniffers with no profile pic, with just their out, right? Or they just keep sending you their, or they send you their, right? Because a lot of these DL men are, they're trying to get it in, a girl. So they're not at the gay bars. Now you might find a super hyper masculine man at the gay bar, right? Most of the time they're wearing LA Dodgers hats, but they're really big faggots or FAGs. Wait, but most of the time they're doing that, right? So what is it? Like, you can't say that you found this gay man or you found this DL man. You found the trade. You found the DL man at the gay bar. Shut the fuck up. If I hear one more bitch say that I'm looking for trade, mama, just say you're looking for a masculine Hispanic Latino man. Now that one's going to rile a lot of y'all bitches. Because let's be fucking for real. That word is very regional and very specific in different areas. But if you live in SoCal and you're saying you want some trade, when you're at the gay bar, mama, you mean masculine, buff, good-looking Hispanic or Latino man or a Middle Eastern man. A white man ain't no trade. That for sure is not there. But in SoCal, in California, if you're talking about that, that's what you actually mean. And a lot of these gays, a lot of the queers, they don't want to fucking admit that's their preference, right? They want to be all kumbaya and say, I love everybody. Everybody's so great. I love all the flavors of the rainbow. La 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 la. No, you don't. You do not actually love all the flavors of the rainbow. You love a certain flavor that might mimic your flavor, and that's why you're going in that direction, but you don't want to backpedal and actually say it. Again, a lot of people don't want to be honest. A lot of people don't want to be truthful because they do think it's going to bite them in the ass, right, later on. But the preferences exist. We live in that society. We can't get rid of them, right? But we can acknowledge them and we can make better, especially if they're harmful, right? If they're stereotyping people, if they're fetishizing people. And I think that's another conversation of debate, which I'm very curious about. So, drop your thoughts below about what you think, is a fetish versus, appreciation versus preference versus interest. And also, what is your definition of a trade, right? What do you think is trade? I don't know. We'll just have to find out. So in this week's episode, of Chai Me a River, we learned that DL men just don't exist. It's 2025. We also learned that Kim Davis is a fugly ass, Oompa Loompa ass looking ass bitch who should really just fuck off when it comes to marriage equality because, mama, you don't even have a stable marriage. So why are you in our business? And finally, we learned that I have a lot of fucking opinions. And one of those opinions is that the feminine men that hyperfixate to be masculine on the outside, remember that you're just the same as all of us. You are just a big FAG. So, if you enjoyed this week's episode of Chai Me River, like, follow, and subscribe to Chai Me River on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, as well as YouTube. Share your opinions, share your thoughts in the comments, in DMs, and I will gladly incorporate them into future content and future episodes. So, like always, keep sipping your chai, whether it's hot, iced, or cold. And until next time, see you again.